Hello, I'm Chris, this is Gross Models, and welcome to part 2 of my look at the parts contained within the Adventure Kit 2.0, called Day Zero now, from Inventor.io. This is the kit as supplied. They've changed the box now, they've made a nicer box that makes less noise. Yeah, let's have a look at the parts. If you missed the first part, go back and look at the first part of the parts. This is the second part of the parts from the parts. You'll understand it. We're going to look at 3 or 4 or 5, maybe, different components issued in this kit and how they can be used together. Okay, starting today with something nice and easy, we have a breadboard power supply. Now, I've not encountered this before, but it makes sense. Instead of having to run your board and everything else, if you're running things off the breadboard, you can use one of these. Now, this is slightly different to the one that they've got pictured on the site. I assume it's an upgrade. It looks like there's multiple connectors. I don't know if you'd have to connect them all up at once or if it's designed to just be used on the one on the end there. I think that's if you need different voltages, because you can use these jumpers on this to change between, by the looks of it, 5 volts and 3.3 volts going through there, which is useful. And to get the power in, you can use either barrel connector socket, which you plug a normal sort of charger or power supply into, or USB. Now this one obviously does have an LED on it as well, and a switch, probably a power supply switch. I don't know. I'm not playing with it because I don't know about it. So I shall wait until they update things and show us more exactly what is required and what's needed on here. But it's something to be used. I shall put that in place on there just like that for now, to show you that it just plugs into the board the same way everything else plugs into the board, and that will then electrify the positive and negative, the ground rail on each side of this, so you can then put jumpers across into your components inside the breadboard. That's about it. Nothing more to say. There is no coding for this, obviously, because it's, doesn't have any. It's got some chips on it, but no actual programs to be run on it. So that's that for that. The second item today is a servo. This is a little motor that it knows exactly where it's positioned. You can program it to move to a specific position, or, as this is doing, just to rotate backwards and forwards in a relatively smooth fashion. It's got little steps to it, which you can sort of feel and sort of hear, but yeah. The code for this is nice and easy. All it is including the servo directory, telling where the servo is attached, obviously to pin 9 on this one. The loop is right in that, delay right in that, and delay. It's just telling you that the I is 180, and if the I is greater than 0, take some off the I, and obviously if the line above is adding it to it as well. So it's adding it up until it goes to 180 degrees and then going backwards. Nice and easy, does the job. Can be used for lots and lots of different things. As ever, I'm gonna make a change to this. Let's change 180. I believe it go further than 180. I don't know. I assume it probably can. Let's change that to 280, and then we'll see what happens when I upload that. Just jumped. I did that when I powered it up before. I'm not sure if that's. It's not saying that there's a bad thing. It might just take it a little while for it to sort itself out, or it might be that I've glitched it, because that's now jumping a couple of bits. Yeah, that's not right. I think I've broken it by turning it 280. Let's change that back to 80 and see. That should only change it a little bit rather than all of the way. Let's update that. Little flashy lights on the thing saying it's receiving information. Yeah, there we go. That's just going 80. 180 is obviously the maximum for this particular servo. Now doing 80 degrees. It does come with 3 different attachments and some screws. Obviously you need to hold this into wherever place, and screws to hold that in place. There's one that's got, let me go back to the main screen. This one obviously just has pin in one direction. We've got one with a pin in 2 directions and one with an extra little bits coming off in 4 directions. So there's that. I shall unplug all this and select the next item to show you what's what. Okay, next up we have this tiny little board here, which packs quite a punch. I'm quite impressed with it and the scale of the size and everything, but it only connects up with these 4 pins at the moment. I don't know what the others do. This is a gyroscope and accelerometer module, also a temperature module. And it has a green light on it, it tells you it's powered up, and it's reporting back to the board its position and its speed and its temperature. Let me show you. The code for it is complicated. I've looked at it and I don't understand very much of it because, you know, it's all about me. It does explain some of it at the top there. If you want to pause and have a look through, feel free. But yeah, for me, it doesn't mean very much. It's setting the baud rate for the serial, which is, I understand. And then it's looping through, transmitting the readings, the accelerometer, the temperature, and the gyroscopic information, and printing those off onto the monitor, which you can see at the bottom of the screen here now. Yes, basically the first digit AX is the accelerometer, X orientation, AY and AZ, not Z, Z, is the other orientations for the accelerometer. Temperature obviously is showing about 23, 24 degrees in here at the moment, which feels about right under the lights. That's fair. The G, X, Y, and Z are the gyroscopic measurements. So at the moment, I'm not moving it, and it's showing that it's got numbers coming up. If I tilt it, you'll see at least one of those numbers will change. It's quite sensitive, so even tilting it a little bit in either direction changes numbers. The accelerometer is the one that tells it when it's actually moving. If I shake it about constantly, you'll find that that will go absolutely crazy. Whereas the other ones will stay probably about the same. Or I might have it the other way around. I'm not entirely certain. I think the accelerometer should be telling it movement, how far it's moving, how fast it's moving in any given orientation direction. The gyroscope should be just telling you its position. So yeah, the temperature obviously right in the middle there, doing what it does and not changing very much. So yes, that I can see being very useful in any number of systems. If you need to know if something's moved or how it's moved or how a position of something, if you had it on the back of your glove, for instance, it could track your hand movement and indeed the positioning of your hand in different directions. Basically, it will plot it not exactly in three-dimensional space, but it will give an indication of how far and how fast it's moving, depending on the readings that it's getting back. So I think that's going to be quite useful. So I'll unplug all this and dig out the next next bit from the box of fun. Next up, we have the PIR motion sensor. I believe that it's passive infrared is what that stands for. Basically, it's a dome of a circuit with some jumpers and adjustment to, I think, for tuning. Don't let the massive wires confuse you. I'm only using 3 of them. They are plugging into the bottom here, and that is going onto power and signal, obviously, from on the board. I shall show you what that looks like in the code. Now, the code for this, again, basically, it seems quite simple. It's saying detected is false, and then set everything up. If detected is true, then make the counter 0 and motion detected, and then start a loop to add numbers to it. Now, I've had trouble with this. I can't get it to work properly. This does not as yet have a functioning tutorial video, and you know what I'm like with needing help and stuff. I don't know if I've got it wired up correctly, because that's obviously easy, but as you can see, the motion detected is just constantly going up all the time. I think either my lights or the screen or something else is affecting it. I might have to play with the tuning to get it to work in this environment, but I'm not going to play around with anything until I know what I'm doing, which could be a while. But just a closer look at a part in the box, and yeah, if you want to continue and join in, you know where to get the kit. Link in the description below. Okay, next up and last one I'm going to be looking at in this video is the Rotary encoder. This is very similar to the variable potentiometer from last time, but it's a digital version. This I've already wired up, and it basically, you can feel it click each time you turn it around. It also acts as a button, although the button has not been programmed into this version. So let's have a look at the code for this. This I sort of understand. I think we did some of this in the 30 Days Lost in Space kit. Basically, this is just set up to change the number if it goes positive or negative. So yeah, have a look through that, see if it makes sense to you. It does say switch pressed, but the switch doesn't seem to be working. Not sure, maybe it's not wired up for that switch to work, but anyway, it works as is. If I turn it, you'll find that number will go up if I turn it clockwise, and down if I turn it anti-clockwise. If I push the button, hold it maybe? No, pushing it is not actually activating anything. It's not detecting that for some reason. But at the moment, I'm still just getting a feel for things. And that is working as that should be for that. So that's that. I will return with another video looking at a few more components in a while. So hopefully this has given you a taste for the kit. The kit is available now. The course is not quite available yet, but the kit is available now. Have a look at the description. There's a link to encoder.io in there. You can get it for yourself. So thank you very much. I shall see you very shortly for more of this, and very soon we'll be starting the actual day 0 progression course. So thank you for watching. Stay safe. I'll see you soon. Bye bye for now.